PSV Eindhoven's Cody Gakpo seems to have caught the attention of Arsenal Football Club, but with many other top European clubs also interested, have Arsenal got the edge? Well, let's find out what the Dutchman has said today in an exclusive interview. Have Arsenal sent scouts to watch Darwin Nunez? And which young Arsenal left back has been impressing Mikel Arteta behind the scenes? Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Pav14. Welcome back to your boys channel, and we are back again with all of that Arsenal content. So if you guys enjoy, make sure to go down there, smash a like on it, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Less than 500 away from 80k. The support has been gargantuan. But let's get into that Arsenal news, and starting off with Cody Gakpo, the Dutch international that has been on fire for PSV Eindhoven in the Eredivisie this year. We are talking 33 goals and assists in 38 appearances across all competitions. And as Fabrizio Romano confirms, despite PSV appointing Ruud van Nistelrooy, it's not going to be easy to keep Cody Gakpo at the club in the summer, as many top clubs want him. And one of those teams hovering around is indeed Arsenal Football Club, because as the very reliable Rick Elfrink confirmed only a week ago, Mikel Arteta is a massive fan of this player. And according to The Athletic, Barcelona are also interested in Cody Gakpo, with the forward and the club PSV having agreed to sell him if a good offer arrives. He could cost around 35 million euros. 35 million euros, around 28 to 30 million pounds for a player that has been on the form of Cody Gakpo. That could be seen as a bit of a bargain. Now, I understand that Eredivisie has a very hit and miss record when it comes to the Premier League. Hakim Ziyech, Steven Bergwijn, Memphis Depay, all players that are thriving in the Eredivisie, but they couldn't translate their numbers to the Premier League. But when you have the likes of Bayern Munich, Liverpool and Man City also liking Cody Gakpo, when you want to buy that level of club, you must be a decent little player. Even though Arsenal can afford it, with all the other clubs that are interested, will he choose Arsenal Football Club? Well, let's just say after this exclusive recent interview, he has given Arsenal fans a massive hint, saying that I'm not a fan of a specific team, but I love Arsenal a lot. I followed Thierry Henry when I was young because he was a tall guy who played on the wing. Fast forward nearly 20 years and Arsenal are still maximising the juice of the Invincibles, and the Arsenal GOAT Thierry Henry is coming clutch once again, making Cody Gakpo an Arsenal fan, saying he loves Arsenal. And the fact that this is a recently exclusive interview, the timing of this report is very key because of all the recent reports that have linked him to Arsenal Football Club. In the same interview, Cody Gakpo also says that Ruud van Nistelrooy has taught him the art of finishing. Now, this is very important because I have seen a few Arsenal fans claim that the long-term project, if Arsenal were to sign Cody Gakpo, is to play him as a centre forward. Now, in terms of the frame itself, standing 6'2" tall, he's strong, he's physical, he's got a very decent turn of pace, and when it comes to ball striking, it seems to be the superpower of Cody Gakpo. But as things stands, for me, he's still a winger, and the fact that he has more assists in the Eredivisie with 13 than goals in 9 just goes to show a more creative type of winger than an out-and-out centre forward. But as he says there, his idol was a certain Thierry Henry, another player that started out wide as a young player, but at Arsenal Football Club he was transformed into a centre forward and one of the best centre forwards of all time. The fact that his rumoured price tag is only at 35 million euros, I would not be surprised if Cody Gakpo was signed as almost a secondary striking option, because I still think Mikel Arteta want to sign more of an established centre forward that is ready-made going into the start of next season. But what do you guys make of Cody Gakpo saying he loves Arsenal Football Club and for a price tag of 35 million euros? Is he a player that you guys want to see Arsenal sign? And do you guys think he has a future as a centre forward? But talking about out-and-out strikers, what about Benfica's superstar in Darwin Nunez? Well, according to Ryan Taylor Sports of The Express, he was told that there were scouts from Premier League clubs in attendance last night at the Estadio da Luz that have travelled to Portugal specifically to watch Darwin Nunez as he played against Liverpool in the Champions League. Now, the result itself, Benfica lost the game 3-1. Watching the game itself, Darwin Nunez did stand out on quite a few occasions. Not only did he score Benfica's only goal, but as EBL points out, Benfica had no right to compete with Liverpool. They are not in the same stratosphere from a physical, tactical or technical standpoint, yet Darwin Nunez is, and single-handedly made the game uber competitive in the second half. He is a game changer. But despite him scoring that goal, I don't think it was a perfect Darwin Nunez performance, and at quite a few occasions he still showed his overall weakness, which is his erratic technical qualities, as his link-up play is still very touch and go and playing in the centre of the park. Even though he has the physique, when it comes to his first touch, at times it can be very unpredictable. But despite of that, there were still very impressive signs. He provided Benfica a strong physical outlet, and up against two strong centre-backs like Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk, he caused them quite a few issues. In the final third, I was a massive fan of his movement to find space and how aggressive he was in the box. And when we're talking about physical outlet, outlets going forwards if that's the type of profile that Mikel Arteta wants to sign. As long as his technical part of his game evolves as he gets more experienced and calmer on the ball, Darwin Nunez remains a very interesting option for Mikel Arteta. But to the guys that did watch that game, what did you guys make of Darwin Nunez' performance? And did he convince you guys that he should be Arsenal's main transfer target going into the next transfer window? Keeping it on the forwards, according to The Sun in the UK, Memphis Depay is being seduced by return to the Premier League, with Arsenal, Everton and Newcastle keen on the former Man United forward. Now, Memphis Depay has struggled at his time at Barcelona. He started only 15 games where he has scored 10 goals, but 4 goals have come from the penalty spots. He is a goal scoring outlet, he can play as a false 9, a centre forward, but he's also a wide player at the same time. He will provide Arsenal versatility, goal threat, experience, a player at the peak of his powers. And Depay, in my eyes, is a top player, but I mean, just looking at the reports there, Everton and Newcastle, I guess they have money, but Everton might be in the Championship, so for me, this report is completely and utterly unreliable. But at the same time, with the lack of overall game time, I wouldn't be surprised if Barcelona were to make Memphis Depay available, and if he was to become available, is he a forward that you guys would like to see Arsenal sign? Moving on to Arsenal's future central midfielder. Strikers and strikers and strikers. We're getting bored of talking about strikers, so let's spice it up with a central midfield instead. And starting off with Fabrizio Romano, who says on his podcast, here we go, El Neni will leave Arsenal on a free transfer, and they are already looking at the market for midfielders. They wanted Arthur in January, but I think they'll go for different targets in the summer. Now, who are these different targets going to be? Well, there's quite a few options, starting off with the Premier League. Starting off with Yuri Tielemans at Leicester, a player that will only have 1 year left on his contract, and Arsenal have confirmed talk to behind the scenes. You also have Yves Bissouma out of Brighton, another player that will also have only 1 year left on his contract at the end of the season. Arsenal also reportedly remain keen admirers of Wolves' Ruben Neves, and you have other players in the Premier League as well, like Douglas Luiz, but I think those three in Bissouma, Neves and Tielemans are the standout options in my opinion. But if Arsenal weren't to look into the Premier League, there are also options on the European market, starting off with Napoli's Fabio Ruiz, yet another player that is soon to enter the final year of his contract, and a player that suits that whole box-to-box number 8 type of profile that Mikel Arteta clearly wants to sign. There has also been quite a few reports linking Leo's Renato Sanchez with a move to the Emirates, and when we're talking about league or midfielders, we can't not talk about Houssem Aouar as well, who to this day still has reports linking him with a move to the Emirates. And now that he has changed his agent as well, I think that could be very interesting, but ultimately, I still think Arsenal are going to look within the Premier League. And I think Yuri Tielemans stands out there with the price tag that he's going to be, but as many Arsenal fans do, I have massive concerns over his overall defensive ability. But with that being said, my question to you guys is, what type of profile or midfielder do you guys want to see Arsenal target in that summer transfer window? Is it going to be an attacking number 8 like Houssem Aouar, a box-to-box like a Renato Sanchez or Fabio Ruiz, or more of a 6-8 hybrid like a Yves Bissouma or Ruben Neves? But talking about central midfielders, let's talk about Thomas Partey, because here is Arsenal's stats with and without Partey in the 2021-22 season. No surprises here, Arsenal are so much better with Partey in the team, with a 65% win percentage, averaging 1.8 goals for and 1.1 goals against, and also 2 points per game. Long story short, with Partey in the team, Arsenal have sustained Champions League form. Without Partey in the team, Arsenal are pretty mediocre. And the reason why I say without Thomas Partey is because we have some very concerning injury news. Because according to Chris Wheatley, Thomas Partey is waiting to hear back on the results of his scan. He is told that his thigh injury is similar to the one he suffered against Tottenham last season. That of course was the infamous game where Thomas Partey attempted to walk off the pitch as Harry Kane scored Spurs' second goal. But when a player is sent in for a scan, it says to me that things might get a little bit worse for Arsenal. And that's because from now until the end of the season, every game for Arsenal is going to be gargantuan. They are must-win games for Arsenal and they're coming thick and fast. So as Arteta has transitioned into his 4-3-3, when you take such an important facet out of the team, Arsenal are going to have to adapt. And the player that steps up is going to have to be Albert Sambi Lokonga. I think he has all the quality, but for me, is he secure enough to keep the ball in vital moments? Because in that game against Crystal Palace, Thomas Partey became very stray with his passing, and it just showed that when your number 6 isn't passing accurately, it will cause Arsenal so many issues. Up against teams like Brighton and Southampton, teams that have great transitional threats, Arsenal are going to have to be very careful. And potentially Mikel Arteta may just have to adapt his overall system, potentially switching out the 4-3-3 and going into the 4-2-3-1. But with Thomas Partey unfortunately set to be out for a few weeks, in his absence, do you guys trust the Belgian international in Albert Sambi Lokonga? Talking about young Arsenal players, Chris Wheatley is reporting that Lino Sosa is continuing to catch the eye of Mikel Arteta and his coaching staff. The 17-year-old left back recorded an assist for Rob Holding's header in the behind close was friendly against Brentford last last week. Left back to Arsenal, we are now in a very precarious situation with Kieran Tierney set to miss the rest of the season and some Arsenal fans not trusting in Nuno Tavares. So with that being the case, I present to you a new signing that Arsenal made in the January transfer window, 17-year-old Lino Sousa. Only a few weeks ago, we discussed the reports coming out of The Athletic that claims that Lino Sousa is seen as one of the most highly rated left backs coming out of England as it stands. So with that being the case, I've seen a few Arsenal fans look at these reports and go, hey, maybe Arteta's going to throw him in there. But I think as much as our fans don't trust Nuno Tavares, with him already having the youngest team in the Premier League, I just don't see how Mikel Arteta is going to throw in a 17-year-old in the deep end of the Premier League as Arsenal battle it out for the Champions League. But hey, in football you can never say never, and young players in the past have made debuts at young ages. But talk to me about the Arsenal left back situation. With Kieran Tierney out for the rest of the season, do you guys trust in Nuno Tavares, or do you want to see a more creative Mikel Arteta finding other solutions instead? Whether that's Granit Xhaka at left back, or Cedric Suarez, or even some fans claiming Bukayo Saka at left back. For me, I think we have to simply trust in young Nuno Tavares. Moving on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with the young Arsenal striker that came through Hill End and is firing down there in the Championship. As young following Balogun was at it once again, helping Middlesbrough to a win, and once again finding himself on the score sheet. He was on fire for the England under-21s on the international break, scoring goals for them, and now he's translated that form to the Championship. And so for an Arsenal team that needs more strikers going into next season, with Nketiah going, Lacazette going, I believe that Mikel Arteta is going to give Balogun a chance in pre-season. As Mikel Arteta has shown in the past, specifically with the Emile Smith Rowe, players that he loans down there to the Championship are players that he is not scared to throw into the first team. It is stat time of the day, and these are not some positive stats, as in terms of the worst differential between goals and expected goals, Arsenal ranks 17th in the Premier League, underperforming their XG by 7.7 goals. Essentially speaking, Arsenal have underperformed their overall goals created by 7 goals, meaning they should have scored 51, but they've actually scored 44. And most of that minus 7.7 XG goes down to a certain French striker in Alexandre Lacazette. As in terms of the worst rate of goals to expected goals in the Premier League, Lacazette ranks as the worst in the Premier League, underperforming his expected goals by minus 5 goals. Which is not things you want to see, because Lacazette is Arsenal's, as it stands, main striker in our race for the Champions League. Is basically screaming out for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta to sign a striker in that summer. I understand that some fans think Lacazette deserves a 1-year contract extension. I don't think he's the worst of options of the bench, but in terms of first-team strikers to take Arsenal to the next level, let's face the facts, Alexandre Lacazette, who might get assist, isn't a goal scorer that Arsenal require. But talking about the race for the Champions League, with Tottenham and Arsenal both on 54 points, here are Arsenal's and Spurs' fixtures, with Spurs having the likes of Villa, Brighton, Brentford, Leicester, Liverpool, Arsenal, Burnley and Norwich, whereas Arsenal have Brighton at home, Southampton away, Chelsea away, United at home, West Ham away, Leeds at home, Tottenham away, Newcastle away and Everton at home on the final day of the season. Looking at those fixtures there and there is no denying that Spurs have the easier fixtures. And yes, they might have Antonio Conte and Harry Kane, but the thing with Spurs is they're still Tottenham Hotspur, and you just don't know when Spurs are going to collapse. So despite those games looking winnable on paper, do you guys trust Tottenham to win every single one of them and show that level of consistency that we have not seen for them from so many years? But for Arsenal, the focus has to be on Brighton on Saturday. And talking about the opponents, they have drawn 9 of their last 13 away Premier League matches in London. It's a must that Arsenal bounce back straight away, and if Arsenal can apply that pressure on the Tottenham Hotspur, as Giorgio Chiellini once said, those guys have a history of struggling under that pressure. But as things stands, who do you guys think is the favourites for the Champions League places? Arsenal, who have control over the destiny, or Spurs, who have the easier fixtures? But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed, and if you have, make sure to go down there and smash a like. Also do subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you would like to follow your boy on them social medias, then the links will be down below in the description. But that was all of the latest Arsenal news today. I hope you guys have enjoyed and been informed as always, and Arsenal are back in only 2 or 3 days time. So for Arsenal, it is crunch time, it's must win time, and I will see you guys next time in a bit, and take care.